I'm gonna be honest, I really don't enjoy making videos complaining about Call of Duty all the time. I'd much rather be here praising Call of Duty, saying all sorts of good things about the new games, which is something I've done quite a bit in the past, but it's kind of hard to do so when Activision keeps making these really baffling decisions, and honestly, there's quite a few decisions over the past year where I can say are some of the worst things Call of Duty has ever done, but I think this takes the cake. I think this officially takes the cake for the worst thing Activision has ever done to the Call of Duty franchise, and I'm talking specifically about the Call of Duty franchise. I know someone was gonna, quote that and be like, oh, what about the allegations and stuff going on? Like that's certain people within Activision. I'm talking about the studio as a whole and how they handle Call of Duty. I think this is the worst thing they've done. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me just tell you that Activision has just officially announced that Warzone 1, which is now officially titled Warzone Caldera, is being shut down completely on September 21st of this year. So this is insane. It's not necessarily something that's that surprising though, because they've been doing other things that kind of lead you to believe that this will be happening, like for example bringing a lot of things from Warzone 1 over to Warzone 2, and then of course removing Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island from Warzone when Warzone 2 released, and also with the whole Warzone mobile thing with bringing in Verdansk. There's a lot of things that have kind of been hinting at this for a while, but I really was hoping they would never actually do it, because I just think it doesn't make any sense in any way, shape, or form, and I wanted to brainstorm some possible reasons as to what led them to do this, and I have a few things in my head. So first of all, it's very possible that they were using a lot of resources to upkeep Warzone Caldera. Now, I kind of doubt this just because, they haven't done this for anything else before. No other prior Call of Duty multiplayer has had their servers shut down. Blackout did not have their servers shut down. But I'm assuming that's also because those were all paid games, so they had this obligation to upkeep them. But because Warzone Caldera is free to play, maybe they felt like, oh, we don't really have to keep the servers up. We could shut them down. But the reason I don't like that reason is because it's not 100% free for some people. A lot of people did buy plenty of bundles within Warzone 1. And you might say, well, oh, those bundles are still usable in multiplayer, which is true, but not everyone bought the multiplayer games. Think of someone who bought Warzone, or not bought, but, downloaded Warzone 1, they played it for 3 years, but they never bought a single one of those games. They never bought Modern Warfare 2019, they never bought Cold War, they never bought Vanguard. They just played Warzone. And let's say they also spent, I don't know, $500 on bundles, which sounds insane, but I'm sure there's people out there who have done that. What about those people? They physically cannot use those bundles anywhere. So the argument that because it's free to play, it's okay for them to shut down the servers doesn't really hold up when you realize that it's not free for a lot of people. They spent their money. I know they did it willingly, but they did it with the intention that they can have that there forever, right? I know legally speaking, they can get away with it. There's stuff in the fine print and the terms of service and all that type of shit where it kind of tells you that you're not really buying it to own it. They do still own the item that you're buying. It's just you're using it sort of. I don't know. There's some fine print that keeps it from being a legal issue. So it's not like they can get in trouble legally for this. So don't expect there to be some big lawsuit or something, because that's just not how it works. But in terms of just morals and ethics, it just is kind of shitty. You know what I mean? A lot of people paid a lot of money for those bundles, and sure, they got their usage out of them, but what if they still wanted to go back and look at them and use them in their game? And I know eventually the game was probably going to die out anyways, just like most of the multiplayers do. It's very hard to get lobbies in a lot of the old CODs, but at least it's possible to get lobbies, or you can play in private matches or whatever it may be. But for Warzone Caldera, you physically cannot play it after this date. It will be shut down for good. I think it was bad enough to remove the other maps, but removing Caldera, removing the whole thing, the whole experience, it's insane to me. But I think a more likely reason as to why they're doing this is simply that they just want more people playing the new Call of Duty games, because they don't expect people to be spending much money on older games, and they don't want you playing it. They want you on Warzone 2. They want you on Modern Warfare 2. They want you on the new game that comes out next year. They want you to buy the new game. They don't want you to be having fun in these old CODs and feeling like you never have to buy a new Call of Duty ever again. And honestly, Warzone Caldera's player base is pretty decent. Like, I can hop on any time now, and I do usually get a lobby. And I'm sure after this announcement, it's going to be even more popular for the next few months because everyone's going to be like, oh no, it's going to leave soon. So it just gives us even more reason to play it more. But even before that, like, you could get lobbies pretty easily on Warzone Caldera. A lot of people still love OG Warzone, even probably a lot of casuals. And maybe that was just scaring Activision. Maybe they were just like, oh no, we need people playing this new game. So their thought was, let's just remove it. And I've talked about this before in other videos, like with the whole Activision shutting down SM2 as well as the Boy client. I've already talked about it, but the idea of Activision just not wanting you to play older COD games, and I think it's kind of in line with that whole idea. It's just crazy because this is not like a mod or some sort of a separate like fan-made thing. This is literally their own game that they're shutting down. It's insane. And if the other Call of Duties didn't cost money, they would have probably been all shut down by now as well. Which, like I said before, I still think that's a bad reason for it because people have spent money on Warzone 1, but I guess it's different because legally speaking, they're allowed to. But not even just speaking from like ethics and morals, let's just talk about Activision as a company. Why do I think this is a bad decision, even just for them? Like, if I was working for Activision and my goal, my sole purpose was to make this company money, why would this still be a bad decision? And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, why are people going to buy bundles anymore? People are still going to do it, sure. I know they will no matter what. But I do think there's going to be a large group of people, honestly myself included, who won't buy certain bundles just because we are now worried that the same thing that happened to Warzone Caldera is going to happen to Warzone 2 in just a few years. And it's not like it was that long. It's not like it was 10 years or something. It was literally 3 years. 3 years. That's how old Warzone 1 is. And it got shut down. Or it's going to get shut down in a couple months. So think about 3 years from fall 2022. That's only fall 2025. So that's when the Call of Duty after so the next Infinity Ward Call of Duty game, essentially, that is when, if they were to do the same thing they did with Warzone 1, they would shut down Warzone 2, and then after that, it just you wouldn't be able to use those skins anymore. And I think I can speak for everyone, and like that kind of is shitty, like, of course, if you play the multiplayers, you can use them, but like I said, a lot of people don't even play the multiplayers. They just play Warzone. They only care about Warzone. They're going to have less of an incentive to buy these bundles. I'm still going to buy stuff probably in the Treyarch Call of Duty because I'm sure I'll be playing tons of multiplayer and zombies in that one. Maybe the next COD if it's really good, but for Modern Warfare 2, I know for damn sure I ain't spending a single dime for bundles specifically for multiplayer. Would I maybe think about it for Warzone? Maybe, possibly, but this kind of tells me what's the point? If it's going to be gone within a few years, what's the point? I know I can use it until then, but the feeling of it, knowing it's going to go away, I think is going to turn a lot of people off from buying bundles. And I really don't understand why they decided to make Warzone 2 as a part of the Modern Warfare 2 application, when that was very clearly one of the main issues with Warzone 1, the fact that it was tied to the Modern Warfare 2019 application. Warzone all this time should have been its own separate thing, 100%, like Fortnite is its own thing. Well, I guess technically Fortnite was attached to another game, but you know what I mean? Like how Fortnite is continuing as its own application for so many years. That's what Warzone should be. And I hope that they try to do that eventually, but they can't do that when they tie it to a specific Call of Duty application, because now Modern Warfare 2 as a game is the Warzone application. In years to come, it's just going to be known as the Modern Warfare 2 application. And there was rumors that when this game came out, they were going to make Warzone 2 separate. That's what the rumors were saying, which I think was probably what they originally planned. But for some reason, they chickened out and they decided to just make it part of the application. And I don't understand the reason for that, because that makes this whole process a lot worse. And I think it guarantees the fact that, yes, we're going to get another Warzone reset where they do like a Warzone 3.0. That's going to happen. It's gotta. I mean, they can't just keep updating the Modern Warfare 2 application, like even when Modern Warfare 3 comes out, you know what I mean? It just wouldn't make any sense for them to still be updating that same exact application. So either they gotta just do that separate Warzone thing, or each game should just have its completely separate own battle royale, just like what Blackout had And what they were probably planning to do back when Warzone first launched, I think they were probably just planning every COD to have their own BR that was going to be free to play. But then Warzone just blew up, so then they're like, okay, scrap that Blackout 2 idea for Cold War, and let's just integrate the Black Ops stuff into Warzone. Which, you gotta pick one or the other. You gotta make your separate application for it, or do one Battle Royale for each game, and that's it. You have to pick them. I don't think this whole integration is gonna work anymore. It's just too finicky, and then it leads to them wanting to shut down the servers years later because too many people are playing the original one that people liked more, and it's just not a good look in any way, shape, or form for the COD franchise at all. So that's all I have to say for this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think this is good news? I can't see a single person on planet Earth who possibly can think this is good news. You could maybe understand it and be like, okay, that makes sense, but seeing this and being like, this is great, I don't know if that's possible. Like, I'm trying to think of a single possible reason why you can think this is a good thing. I just can't see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. I'm still looking forward to the future of COD. Just because I'm making some videos that are negative does not mean I'm not excited for it. I still love this franchise. I still love a lot of the stuff they do, and I'm going to continue to be excited for the future. So I will see you on my next one. Peace out.